This is Action News, with the Action News team anchored by Francesca Fabulosa and Belle Drinky Whiteman.
Good evening. I'm Francesca Fabulosa.
And I'm Beldronicus Whiteman. Eat my shorts, Henry.
Welcome back to another Action News broadcast. We're glad you're here. We begin tonight's show with what needs to be said. Belle.
So the coronation of America's first king is about 6 weeks away. For every other president before Trump, this ceremony was called an inauguration because America doesn't have a king, or rather, it didn't have one, until now. The outrageous decision of the Supreme Court this past July to insulate Trump from any criminal activity he might commit while in office officially places Trump above the law and places him in the realm of the tyrant king. Think Henry VIII, Emperor Caligula, or Vladimir Putin for that matter. It's a position no other president has ever had, nor should have ever had. Given this moronic ruling, Trump is now free to use the power of his office to do whatever the hell he wants to do up to and including murder, and he cannot be held to account. The Supreme Court has said so. While they were at it, why not just rule that the president can also fly, walk on water, raise the dead, and transport himself across time and space? It makes just as much sense as ignoring 250 years of constitutional democracy and the rule of law as if they were just as meaningless.
I'm surprised he didn't petition them to rule that he has a 9-inch penis, is irresistible to women, and is the greatest golfer of all time.
They'd have given it to him. They're even more stupid than they are corrupt.
Well, it needed to be said. Now the headlines. Speaking of His Highness, Donald Trump hasn't even taken office yet, and already his presidency is rife with idiotic decision-making, malicious intent, and probably a sex scandal in there somewhere. We're off to a great start. All we can hope for is that in 2 years, the Dems can take back the House and/or the Senate. Until then, all I can tell you is to brace for impact.
Trump's first official scandal has been his cabinet choices, ranging from the ridiculous to the absurd. His only real criteria for these appointments seems to be, has the individual in question ever been on TV? If the answer is yes, he or she gets to head a department, some of which have budgets in the trillions. Ostensibly then, if you ever had a walk-on as a pizza delivery guy on Saved by the Bell, or married with children, then you're qualified to run a federal government office in the Trump administration.
It's too bad Screech is dead. He'd have made a great head of the Department of Education.
It's okay. We've got the lady that helps run professional wrestling for that job. She's been on TV for years, so she's plenty qualified. Well, thank heaven for small favors. At least we'll soon be rid of this fake Democrat and overall asshole. Senator Joe Manchin isn't seeking re-election once his current term is up. After years of him floating through the halls of government, pretending to be a Democrat, while secretly being a Republican, I couldn't be happier to finally see this guy being exorcised.
Tell us how you really feel, Belle. Finally, there's a petition circulating online suggesting that the greasy trail Elon Musk exudes naturally be tapped and added to America's supply of domestic oil. The petition needs at least 1 million signatures to be considered. It currently has 10 times that many.
We should probably call that resource Musk Oil.
If you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, comment, and/or subscribe. The maker of these videos could really use the support.
Those are the headlines. Let's go now to Flash Madigan with the Sports Minute. Flash.
Thanks, Francesca. This is Flash Madigan, and here's this week's sports roundup. In the world of basketball, the Longwood Chickens soared high with 3 back-to-back victories. The latest being a nail-biting 105-103 win against the Lakeland Parolees. Star player Jamie Jet Airliner Carter clinched the victory with a buzzer-beating 3-pointer, securing the Chickens' top spot in the conference, sending the Parolees home crying for their mommies. Over in football, the Freeport Poison Sumac dominated the field with a stunning 31-14 triumph over the Morriston Itch. Quarterback Alex Trouser Rocket Rivera threw for 3 touchdowns, while the defense, led by linebacker Sam D's Nuts Hayes, held the itch to just 2 scores and scratched that itch all the way home crying to their mommies. This victory also strengthens their playoff ambitions. On the ice, the Holloman Snowplow skated to success with a commanding 4-1 win against the Granite Hole Roadkill. Captain Max Frostbite Morgan led the charge with 2 goals, supported by a rock-solid performance from goalie Jake "Don't Eat the Yellow Snow" Thompson, who made 36 saves, sending the Roadkill home crying to their mommies. In baseball, the Winterdale Honey Badgers wrapped up their series against the Miami Migrants with a 7-3 victory, sending the Migrants back across the border Lorando a sus madres. Pitcher Leo Leadbottom Lawson struck out 12 batters, while slugger Tim Off-Road Kurgan hit a grand slam, sealing the series win and boosting their playoff hopes. Lastly, in soccer, the Brandon Homewreckers battled it out in a thrilling 2-2 draw against the Orlando Tourists. Forward Mia Twinkletoes Martinez dazzled the crowd with a stunning bicycle kick goal, earning the Homewreckers a crucial point in the standings. That's it for the Sports Minute. Back to you, Francesca.
Thanks, Flash. Now here's Chuck Clyde with the weather. How does it look out there, Chuck?
It's goddamn cold!
Thanks for that insightful look at the weather, Chuck. It's time now for tonight's special report. The 2024 election. What the happened? Now, here's Michael Bendix, our man in the field with the post-election analysis of the Democrat loss across the board. Michael?
Thanks, Francesca. This is Michael Bendix, and I'm live here at the Upstate New York Election Forensics Lab in Rochester. I'm here with Dr. Clint Wanamaker, an elections pathologist who has been autopsying the 2024 election for weeks and has compiled a stunning report on what went wrong for the Democrats. Dr. Wanamaker.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
What went wrong in the 2024 election?
I'm glad you asked me that, Michael. I have some stunning conclusions to share.
I think what most people want to know is how on earth could a lunatic man-child with the IQ of a potato bug be elected president? Twice!
Because according to my analysis, Donald Trump is everything people want in a presidential candidate.
You're kidding.
Mike, we're doing the Christmas show next week. We need to discuss it so we don't have a repeat of what happened last year.
He may be what stupid people want, but for those of us who can tie our own shoes and know to come in out of the rain, we didn't want him.
Let me summarize according to my research. People don't want a politician. They don't want a woman. And they do want a celebrity.
Could you explain that in greater detail?
Politicians are generally considered to be obsequious and fake, even the most polished and professional among them. In fact, the more polished and professional they are, the more fraudulent they come off. Harris was as polished and professional as a politician can be, while Trump was a drooling ape, but Trump connected with the electorate for just that reason. He came off as one of them, while Harris just came off as a practiced and rehearsed automaton by comparison. Trump swore and spoke his mind without restraint, not caring who he offended, while Harris would never have dreamt of doing such a thing. The voters noticed the difference, and they liked what they saw. They approved of Trump's vulgarity because they could relate to it.
So rather than lose points for being vulgar, obnoxious, insulting, classless, and unhinged, he scored points for it?
Exactly. Trump was an everyman, while Harris, with her articulate delivery, even temper and professionalism, was elitist by contrast.
Incredible. So being classy, educated, and well-spoken is an albatross around one's neck now.
Sadly, so is being a woman.
You'd better be careful with that point, Doctor. It could get you into trouble with, well, just everyone female.
I know how it sounds, but I'm neither sexist nor misogynist. This is simply what my research has shown.
Dr. Wanamaker, as a woman, I am offended by your suggestion, and I'm quite certain I'm not going to be the only one.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. The data is conclusive.
How so?
Just look at the history. Each time the Dems ran a woman against Trump, she lost. The one time they ran a man, he won. I mean, it's just that simple. Hey, I don't make the rules here, I just identify them.
I still foresee a lot of pushback on that claim.
Finally, we need to run a celebrity. Celebrities win elections. The history of celebrities in politics bears this out. You run a celebrity, you already have a 50% chance of victory based on that alone.
Even if that celebrity has no qualifications.
How can you ask me that when Trump just won a second term?
You're right, of course. That was a silly question. So that's the plan going forward?
That's the strategy we need to follow to win.
You know, of course, the Dems won't do that. They'll just do what they always do and not learn from their mistakes and run another corporatist.
Oh, I realize that, but at least I'm on the record.
Yes, we have you on the record, and I guess we'll see in 2 years during the midterms if anything new is tried. Thank you, Dr. Wanamaker, for your insights.
My pleasure, Michael.
Back to you, Francesca.
Thanks, Michael. Does Dr. Wanamaker have any advice on what we should do until the midterms?
A lot of pot. That's my plan anyway.
You heard it here, folks. Dr. Wanamaker suggests we do a lot of pot to cope with the next 2 years.
Good advice for us all to follow Francesca. And that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. On behalf of Francesca, myself, and the entire Action News team, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Good night.
Good night.
We're clear.
I think Dr. Wanamaker has been doing a lot of pot for years.
Want to get some dinner with me?
I don't know. My husband will be expecting me to come right home.
Tell him it's a business dinner. That's what I'm going to tell Mitzi.
All right, but no hanky-panky.
No hanky-panky. We'll just have sex.
Okay.
Done.
Will Fran and Belle have sex tonight? And how long can they keep their extramarital activities a secret? And who is the mysterious stranger that blew into town last week, making everyone nervous with his cryptic comments? He seems to know too much. Tune in again tomorrow for the next episode of As the Newsroom Turns. Just kidding.
Ha ha ha!